What's up, guys? It is currently Friday afternoon, the April 24th, 2026, and I'm going to be going over my predictions for UFC Vegas Fight Night 116, Sterling versus Zalal. Um, I'll also just use this time to briefly talk about last week's card since I didn't make a reaction video. It was pretty decent. I did end up catching the last, I don't know, the pretty much the main card when I was up in Michigan. It was real cold, and it was getting kind of dark, so we stopped fishing. But yeah, it was a decent card. Jourdain, he got it done, which I was happy about. Wasn't as impressive as I was hoping, but good for him. And Gilbert Burns retired, of course. That was sad, but also good to see him get out of there before he gets knocked out any more times. Uh, Jasdavicius versus Silva. I don't know. Did she have a Zin in? That was a big story on the week. Was she? She's saying she didn't. I didn't watch the Helwani interview. I saw there was one, but I think she said she didn't have a Zin. But I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool if she did. I would have leaned into it if I were her. Uh, Anything else good on that card? There was the big robbery from J.J. Aldrich and Melissa Croden, I think. Uh, and oh, Dennis Bazooka got hit by a bazooka. Uh, from what was that guy's name? Barbosa, Marcio Barbosa. Yeah, that was a nice knockout. That's probably going on the end of year list. I think it'll probably make top 10, but either way, it's going to be on the list of best knockouts of the year. I think it was just smooth and a crazy, crazy shot on him. All right, well, kind of a similar situation this week with this card. Or maybe not as much. I think I know a lot more of these people. The prelims. I mean, I know a lot of these people, but there's some pretty tough records on these prelims from these fighters. I mean, people complain about not having UFC caliber fighters on their cards, and I'd say this is a good bottom. The good bottom half of this is about a good example of that, I would say, because there are a lot of negative records, fighting negative records, or even, or yeah, it's just not great. But yeah, let's get into it. So first we got Talita Alencar versus Julia Pilastri. Kind of a tough one to pick. I see Alencar's a pretty big dog, but I mean the records, 7-1. Just had a good submission. I think she's a jiu-jitsu ace, I would say, a little bit. Not as much as like, uh, or not as much like a grappling prodigy, but pretty good. I know she's a little old for the division, especially compared to Pilastri's 28. That's like right on the money where you want to be. She has a lot more experience too. Um, Knockout to Kovalevich was Pilastri's last fight, and Alencar had a sub on Carnelossi, and then a win over Vanessa Demopoulos before that, which is, I don't know. Demopoulos kept getting wins. I really thought she wouldn't, and so I started kind of thinking maybe she's all right, but I don't know. Uh, Pilastri's got a lot more experience and is younger. Lost to Loopy, which isn't bad, and Josephine Knutson, who I was pretty high on the Contender Series. She had a really good fight on there. I don't think she's done much since then, but yeah, I'll go with Pilastri. Uh, just a slight pick percentage towards her, but I would say a split decision is a good thing to go with for this fight. If you want to gamble, I would. If whatever book you use allows to just bet on it to go to a split decision. When I did gamble, that was a good little thing I would like to do is on women's fights bet a split decision. It's usually like three or 400, and yeah, they would hit pretty often. I got a feeling this one will too, but I guess we'll see. All right, up next we got Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. Psychosis, and it's spelled different, like PSI, like pounds per square inch cosis, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's got a lot of air in him. Well, And then we got Max Payne Griffin, which is a good nickname, I gotta say. Even odds here almost, though people are going much more in the way of Valenzuela. And I get it. I mean, when I see Max Griffin, I'm pretty much at this point itching to go against him. He hasn't won in 2 years, and it was a split over Jeremiah Wells. Don't remember that fight too much, but I bet it was pretty dang close. Got subbed by Chiesa, another split to Chris Curtis, which I kind of remember that one. I think that one, I mean, I know they're split decisions, but sometimes split decisions aren't as close as some other unanimous ones. Like a perfect example was last week. Aldrich got a unanimous decision, I'm pretty sure. And Valenzuela, he's coming off of a contender series loss to Michael Oliveira. Uh, and then he got another win in Shuto, looks like. Went to Japan. Oh, is that in Japan? Lamino Shuto 4. Yeah, wow. He was in Japan 3 weeks ago. Good for him. That sounds cool as hell. Uh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with Valenzuela here. I mean, I just think Griffin's kind of spent at this point. I don't think he's gonna win another fight. Uh, he's got a good chin. He's durable, but I'm gonna just go with younger, hopefully stronger guy to just, land something on him and finally maybe some accumulative damage. I mean, Curtis could knock him out. Curtis is he hasn't knocked anyone out in a while though, to be fair. Walking Buckley though, people forget. Um, yeah, I'll go Valenzuela. I'll just pick him by knockout. I don't. This probably could go to a decision, but I'm gonna just take it by knockout. All right, up next, I think this is a late notice fight between Francis Fire Marshall and Lucas Skywalker Brennan. Brennan is coming straight off the regionals. I don't know if I've seen this guy. He was in Bellator. Probably. Bellator would always have a couple guys who are like undefeated between like 7 to 10 wins, and there are usually a lot of like D1 wrestlers or like All American wrestlers seemingly just made their way onto Bellator. Like no, I think like Hokett's brother was one of them for a while. Josh Hokett. Jordan Newman, not human. I was like, man, these guys are undefeated and they're like super high favorites every time I see them. They must be really good, but I think they just kind of never got out of Bellator. They're probably looking for a shot on Contender Series or UFC soon, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, Lucas Brennan looks like he was one of those, and then he went to PFL, got a loss, split decision loss in Fury to an undefeated guy, which not the worst thing in the world, I guess. And what promotion is that? XKO. XKO 71. I've never heard of that one. And he's training out of Next Generation. Is that Patty the Baddies gym? It looks like it's like a offshoot of it, maybe. Anyway, Marshall's looking like a big favorite. I think it's probably combined with he's looked pretty good. I rate this loss, the split loss to Myron Santos, very highly. Marshall looked good. He had good moments in that fight. He was controlling him, and Santos is a good fighter. I would say he's someone who, if you have a good fight against him, you're uh, you're doing all right. Wow, he's been around for a while, like, or longer than I thought. Francis Marshall lost to Bulgarian, which that was the guy who had the fix issue, but maybe he wasn't doing it back then. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't doing it at all. But split decision to Bazooka, got knocked out cold last week, and went over Eric Silva sub. That looked pretty good. A month ago too. He's staying active. Uh, yeah, I think he'll probably be able to get it done, but maybe Brennan will surprise us. I guess we'll see. Both young, and good prospects, I would say, for the UFC. This fight's actually all right. I know I was pretty negative off the bat, but so far, nothing too terrible. I'm gonna go Marshall by. Gotta lose by yeah, probably decision. All right, up next we got Jafel Filho Pastor versus Cody Custom Made Durden. He changed his name to this. I think it was something before that. It's like I don't know. I don't remember. Uh, Man, Cody Durden, 4 fight loss streak. I think changing that name really, changing his nickname to Custom Made has really had a tough impact on his career. Uh, got a win over Charles Johnson famously. They had like regional beef. I know they didn't like each other at all. And Cody Durden beat him twice. Or did they fight on the regionals? Is that what it was? And then they fought in the UFC too. Um, okay, now I'm just hallucinating that, or maybe amateurs. No. Okay. Well, screw it. Yeah, him and Charles Johnson didn't like each other. He ended up coming out on top on that one. He controlled him. He completely grapple fucked him, which was pretty impressive at the time. I had always held Charles Johnson in pretty high regard. Uh, Even more so now, but back then I was like, I had seen him on LFA and was like, dang, this guy's good as hell. Fighting Jafel Filho, who 17-4, really good record on him. Uh, he's always dangerous. Yeah, he's submitting people all the time. I mean, uh, Naima or Mokaev it was. He almost had him in a knee bar, I think it was, famously, and it looked absolutely gruesome when he had him doing. But Mokaev somehow pulled it off and beat him. But yeah, I think that's all I really need to see here. Durden can wrestle, but I think he can get submitted too. Yeah, you got Anaconda by Nascimento. So yeah, I'm gonna go Filho here by submission. I actually think Filho would comfortably beat Durden on the feet too. To be honest, I think he's just yeah. That's probably why the records so or the picks are going so heavily towards him. A little younger too. Uh, Reach. Oh, wasn't there one of these women's fighters who has like a comically short reach? Yeah, 58.5 for Toledo Alankar. That is insane. I know I saw that the other day. I've never seen a reach that short, I don't think ever. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe some other women's fighters have before, but I've never noticed it until this week. All right, up next we got Mayra Bueno Silva versus Michelle Montague. Like the Romeo and Juliet family, I guess. The Montagues. She's a big favorite, undefeated, 7-0. Now, I guess that's coming down to the undefeated effect, of course, and she's at American Top Team, which is good. But Bueno Silva, man, she really fell off, and it's weird how she was like had momentum after the Holly Holm fight, but that didn't even count as a win. But like pretty much on everyone's eyes, it was. And after that, man, a 4 fight loss streak. I think I picked her in a lot of those too. I thought she was actually pretty good. She might be good at this level. I mean, I'm not exactly too sold on Montague. I know she was yeah, like a Bellator PFL submission ace, but not against the craziest good condition. I know Sobek in Bellator and PFL was usually in that tournament and would lose uh to Kayla Harrison or Aspen Ladd or something, you know. Those tournaments were just like, yep, all right, get a Kat Zingano, Aspen Ladd, or Kayla Harrison up there, and the rest of the division is just like who gives a fuck. Uh, yeah, so I'm gonna go with her. I mean, I'm gonna be real mad if after all this time, Bueno Silva pulls it off here finally. I mean, this is seemingly a big step down in competition. Maybe not even to Cavalcanti. It's definitely a step down from Pennington. But yeah, Chiasson hasn't looked good, and she lost to her. Jasvizius has still looked okay despite getting wrecked by a Fiorot, but and then Cavalcanti, I mean, she's pretty good. But yeah, no, I'm gonna just go with Montague. I spent too much time breaking down that fight. Up next, we got Cedricus the Reaper Dumas versus Jackson the Moose McVeigh, and this is what I was talking about. I mean, two young guys. They really could use some more time on the regionals. I feel like before we need them in the UFC. Like, I get like getting like a prospect into the UFC. That's perfectly fine. But like, send them back if they're doing what these guys are doing. I mean, I'm sure there was some short notice fight for McVeigh. Came straight off LFA No Contender Series, uh, and yeah, I just think these guys would benefit for a little more time in a division like LFA or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. They're here. They're on the UFC. They're in the Apex. I guess no real harm done. But yeah, I'm actually think I'm gonna go with Dumas here. I just have a feeling he's kind of a win-loss guy, or a win-loss, loss-draw loss. I mean, this was him getting kicked in the nuts by Zach Reese, but I mean, getting kicked in the nuts by Zach Reese and not getting finished by him, that's almost a W. You know, he looked okay on the feet for a few. How long did that fight go? Oh, 51 seconds. Okay, I can't really say in good conscience he looked good on the feet against him for 51 seconds. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna just pick him. This is kind of a toss-up. McVeigh hasn't really shown anything. Uh, he was blowing through LFA, I guess, on 2 wins. I mean, that's not exactly blowing through it, but maybe he would have if he would have stayed there, got a couple more wins. He could have had the LFA belt, and then came into the UFC a little better prepared. So to being 6-2. Now mathematically, 6-2 is better than 10-4, but yeah, no, I'm just gonna go with Dumas. I know he's kind of funny to have around too. He's always getting into trouble, always getting kicked in the nuts. Crafty win over Cody Durden, or no, not Cody Durden, Cody Brundage, uh, earlier in his career, which is, I mean, who does that to Cody Brundage? Nobody. They usually knock him out. But yeah, I'm gonna just take Dumas. I don't even know what he does. Does he like hit hard? Does he submit people? Or he just got submitted. I'm gonna just see what a submission. Nah, I'm gonna do a knockout. Let's see what that does. He's probably gonna lose. It's just kind of a toss up. But if McVeigh wins, then people are gonna be like, "Oh, you were stupid as hell for picking Dumas." But I think it's kind of just a toss up. Anyway, moving on to Rodolfo Vieira versus Eric McConaughey. Big swing in favor of Vieira. I think I'll probably be going that way too. McConaughey, another one of these guys they just bring in because a fight fell out and then they kind of just are in limbo in the UFC, it feels like. He was on Tough Enough before, which is a good promotion. I like their shows in Vegas usually. Um, but yeah, Vieira is just a little more proven. Hopefully his chin's not gone from getting head kicked by Bo Nickel. You never know. That could have been a career ender for him at 36. Because that was a nasty head kick by Bo. I mean, that he was out cold. Uh, but yeah, I'll hope he can just get it to the ground, or I don't know, do some crafty jujitsu man striking on him. I doubt it. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I don't got too much to say. I don't remember much about McConaughey other than him losing to Ruziboyev. He was supposed to fight. I think that was when Brian Battle missed weight, right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. And then he filled in. Anyway, up next we got, okay, yeah, the fights start getting pretty good from here on, I think. I think this is half of a pretty dang good card. It's kind of how I felt about the Canada card, too. Um, yep, next we got Buchecha versus Ryan Spann, and now, I know I just said the rest of this is good. I don't know if this is that good, but I think it's going to be entertaining. I mean, Buchecha has been putting on some terrible fights. That's to be certain. Just had a draw with Kennedy and Zetriku where he was holding on to him for dear life at one point. Seems to get tired pretty quick. But does have real good jiu-jitsu. Buchecha is one of those guys right now in the UFC. I just kind of want him out of here. I mean, the reason, like my origin story on it is probably because I remember watching the first one card on Amazon and seeing him submit a guy, like a heavyweight dude, like do some crazy jujitsu shit and submit a guy in like 1 minute, and I was like, holy shit, dude, this guy's a problem. Like at that time, I don't know, kind of newer to watching MMA, and I was really like into guys who weren't in the UFC because I wanted to be cool, And Buchecha is definitely one of those guys, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be the champ in heavyweight at one easily. I mean, one doesn't even have much of a heavyweight division, but they do have one. And then he lost to Rug, which after that I was like, oh well, that's fine. I mean, he's not like the greatest ever, but he's still pretty good. Got another win after that, off over Al Akbari, who I remember him. He's that big Middle Eastern wrestler guy, I was also kind of hyped for. Uh, but since he's gotten to the UFC, terrible, terrible stuff. Lost to Martin Buday, had nothing for Martin Buday, and then Martin Buday gets cut out of the promotion for beating him, seemingly, which, I mean, I guess. Uh, Buday had like a or surprisingly good record for how, you know, un, unremarkable he was, but he was beating guys, and finally he ran into Marcus Buchecha, and that was too much for him, and he lost, or he won and got cut, and then he had the draw. And all right, that's enough talking about Buchecha. We got to talk about Ryan Spann too. Uh, he's had a pretty interesting career too. Real long beef with Anthony Smith, who did, I think Smith submitted him in their first fight. So I don't know if what was that, a guillotine? Let's see what Smith did. A long time ago. Oh wait, it was a rear naked choke. Sorry, someone's beeping in the background. Got my windows open. It's real nice out today. Uh, They got RNC'd, which I mean, surely Buchecha knows how to do a rear naked choke, so maybe there's something there. Of course, Spann coming up from light heavyweight too to heavyweight. He might have some lighter man's skill, but he also might have some lighter man's lightness. He weighed in heavier than Buchecha, but he might not be used to that body style yet. Way bigger than him, but I don't know if he like really bulked up to heavyweight or anything. Uh, His career at heavyweight so far. Oh, of course, he's got a nasty guillotine too. That's Spann does. He's always breaking that guillotine out when he wins. It seems like. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Spann here. I hope he kind of just hope he knocks Buchecha out at this point. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if he catches Buchecha in a guillotine, then like Ryan Spann's like the goat of jiu-jitsu at that point, I think. Um, but yeah, let's see what happens. Up next, we got Montel Jackson versus Raoni Barcelos. This is a good fight. Raoni's been on a 4-fight win streak, pretty impressive. They refused to rank him despite beating all of these guys. Young, or they're not all young. I mean, I guess Garra's not that young, but he's younger than him. And Talbot and Simone, who are all great wins. Quinonez, pretty good win too. Uh, but yeah, he's been on a run lately. That's why he's probably favored over Jackson, despite being a little older, a little smaller. I feel like. Um, but yeah, this is a close one. This is going to be a hard one to pick. I want to say Jackson's got more power. I would say I don't. Barcelos, he really doesn't knock people out, but he's real crafty. He's so good at switching or working in his multiple styles. He's a real mixed martial artist. He's striking, he's grappling, he's throwing leg kicks. Uh, he's doing it all. And I mean, talk about a great record: 21-5, 15-3, also good. Lost the split to Figgy. He definitely Montel Jackson lost a little aura from that. I feel like. He's been on a pretty good run lately, or was pretty inactive really up until recently, and then he loses to Figgy. But I don't really remember that fight too much. I don't think much happened in it. Um, got a big reach advantage and height. I think Jackson's gonna be able to stay away from him enough to not get grappled. I mean, Talbot should have been able to do that too, but uh, I think I'm gonna put some faith in Montel Jackson, despite being the favorite. He is not the favorite on the percentages, which is kind of interesting. Uh, yeah, everyone's got faith. Crafty Howani's gonna pull one off, but not me. New Jackson decision. Uh, yeah, Barcelos. Has he got a chin on him? I mean, none of these guys really hit him with much. I don't think. I'm gonna I'm gonna put some faith Jackson. He's gonna get a KO on Howani. Up next, we got Davy Grant versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. Uh, Dangerous Davy Grant. He's a great fighter. Always love to see him. I'm glad he's still going at 40 years old. And is a pick 'em with this guy. Just came off the Contender Series. Luna Martinetti had that crazy war with Vologden, who fought last week. I didn't catch that fight too much, but I saw it went to a draw. I was trying to watch it, but I was fishing while I was watching it. It didn't really work out too well. For that, I mean, he's 17-1. That's pretty great. He looks like he's fought in every regional you can really be in. I don't know. It doesn't tell me much, but he's from Ecuador, so he's trying to be the next Cheeto Vera, same weight class. He's coming for that spot, Cheeto. He's coming for it. Uh, Grant, though, I mean, he's pulled off some crazy stuff, I gotta say. The reverse triangle that one time, or the inverted triangle on a Sunsao, that was ridiculous. Close fight with Marcos, which is, no harm in that. Beat Damon Blackshear. I was like, nah, this is it for Davy Grant against Blackshear. I didn't think he could win that. And then he just got completely demolished by Charles Jourdain 6 months ago. That's right. Jourdain hit him with that knee and then choked him out, I think. Yeah, that was impressive stuff. This is a tough one. Normally in this situation, I go with the more proven older guy. 10-year age gap, and this guy, he's going to be tough to get out of there. He's got a lot of volume too, I think. So I think I'm going to just take Martinetti. Kind of crazy. I'm just feeling. I have no real technical breakdown on these guys, or on this guy at least. I guess I know how Davy Grant fights, and he gets hit, and this guy throw a shit ton of strikes against Vologden. So yeah, I'm gonna say he just keeps, or they just swing at each other. I don't know if Grant will get crafty, but Martinetti, he after that fight, he knows his job. He's gonna go out there and probably try to do the exact same thing. And I think Grant would be the perfect guy to do that with him. Uh, so either one of them's gonna go out, or I think Martinetti will just outvolume him to a decision. But yep, we'll see. Up next, we got Alexander Hernandez, El Gran Chango, uh, the Great Ape in Spanish, versus Rafa Garcia, gifted, not in Spanish. Um, Man, Rafa Garcia, he's looking pretty good. He just coming off of a knockout win or a TKO win over Jared Gordon, who had been hit by a car. I think that's a pretty big caveat that people learned about after, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if anyone's gonna remember that. Like that Jared Gordon came out with a leg brace, and apparently after it was like, oh yeah, I got hit by a car before the fight, or like a couple days before. Like, what the hell is that? Like, you're not telling anyone? I guess not. But at least, I guess, I don't know, the odds didn't shift or anything. Nobody knew about it. He didn't tell James Krause. Uh, but yeah, that's a good win, I guess. He's still, I mean, Gordon probably felt good enough to fight, or he needed some money. Yeah, that win, I can't imagine it would have been that easy for him, if Gordon wasn't injured. Good record anyway, 18-4, great overall. I think, what's his UFC record? That's what really matters. I'm looking at too much of people's regional records. 6-4, all 4 losses in the UFC. Hawk Perast, Grutzmacher, I do not remember that guy at all. Drakkar Close, I like picking him a lot. He's good. And Grant Dawson, pretty good guys he's lost to be honest. And Hernandez, this guy's 33, feels like he's been in the sport for a long time. It feels like he almost like kind of had a bit of a legend status by the time I started watching because of the thing with him and Cowboy. Um, but I mean, he felt like he was losing a step for a while at uh, featherweight. He was saying his dick didn't work or something at featherweight, I think, because of weight cuts. So I hope it is now. He went up to 155. It's on a 4-fight win streak now. knocked out Chase Hooper badly. I mean, that's a good win. I don't know how good of it is. I mean, Hooper's kind of fallen off. He's still young too. Hopefully he makes a comeback. I like Hooper. And Diego Ferreira, which is a pretty good win too. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep riding the Great Ape knockout train. Uh, yeah, this guy's the most round two knockout guy, or one of those guys where it's just like this guy gets round two knockouts. Like Dober versus Michael Johnson, I was like, second round, one of these guys is going out for sure. I don't know which one, but I know it's going to be in the second round. I don't know why. Some of them are just like that. Uh, well, yep, that's going to be my pick. All right, moving on to the co-main event: Norma Dumont, the Immortal, and Jocelyn La Pantera Edwards. Now, I've heard jokes that Jocelyn Edwards is the best Edwards in the UFC. I mean, and right now it is starting to feel like it. She's really, I've always thought she was good. You know, she's always just striking people at range, I felt like a little earlier in her career. Um, Huge legs. I've always noticed that. She's got giant legs. And 8-4, good record. Wins over pretty good people. Nora Cornell. I don't know how good of a, or how good Cornell was, but man, she got manhandled, woman handled by Edwards. I mean, just thrown right on her shoulder and, broke her shit. On the other side, Dumont, he's been around winning in her bag, unbothered for years, it feels like at this point. Um, Getting close to a title, both of them, in the women's bantamweight division, which is just insane. I mean, I never would have thought Jocelyn Edwards would be pretty close to a title shot, but here we are. And will they get one? I've heard talk that they're just going to get rid of women's bantamweight. I don't know if they would do that. I don't think so. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of legacy in that division with Nunez. And now obviously Kayla Harrison's one of their biggest fighters, I would say, is her, or at least American fighters. But I don't know. Harrison, got to see what happens with her. Her neck got hurt. Hopefully she recovers. I'm going to go with Edwards. I just think she's looked better lately. Dumont's always just cruising. I know she cut the hell out of Irene Aldana and at the Sphere on this fight, but yeah, Ketlin Vieira split decision. That's cool. This one could be a split too, but I don't know. Edwards, this knockout on Capoeira, I know that's not like the greatest opponent, but man, that was a smooth combination by Edwards, I gotta say. So I'm gonna pick her as a 170 underdog. Just hope she can stay at range pretty much. I think Dumont would out grapple her a little bit and throw those kicks with her big old legs, and hopefully get a pitter patter decision, as they call it. uh, yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Moving on to the main event. This is a pretty dang good fight, I gotta say. Aljamain Sterling, Yusuf Zalal. Uh, Close odds here, and for good reason. Zalal, ever since making his way back into the UFC, has been pretty untouchable. He hasn't been in much trouble. You know, as one of his loss to Ilia Topuria. And yeah, 18-5, 29 years, and just entering that point where he's really starting to look to get high up in the rankings and probably make a name for himself. And this is the perfect fight to do it off Aljamain Sterling, former bantamweight champ, moved up to featherweight, 36. He's, a little aged. He doesn't look it. He doesn't show it. I mean, he's looked as good as he always has, in my opinion. Um, his only loss at featherweight now is to Movsar Evloev, who is just looking, is a real tough out for anyone for sure. Movsar's losing to him. I don't think there's much shame in that. I think if anything, his stock went up for fighting Movsar. It may have been short notice. I don't remember. I think it was something like that. And he looked good. I mean, it was a complete grapple fest, and Sterling proved, yeah, he can go all day. I know this is 5 rounds, or that was 3, but they probably did 10 rounds worth of grappling in those 3 rounds. It felt like, and Aljo definitely held his own, and just got a win over Ortega. Another weird one. Ortega was like dying, so it seemed, before the fight, and just went out there and kind of did nothing. So yeah, I mean, Aljo's looked good, but I'm gonna err on the side of Zalal. He's younger, and just I don't know. I've liked his wins. I don't think he's gonna be able to submit Aljo. Probably. I actually don't think he's gonna grapple him. I think he's probably gonna try and strike with him on the outside, kind of like he did Decatur, but for all 5 rounds. Won't be easy to do. Aljo's got decent striking too. He's got a weird style that can catch guys off guard a lot. And I don't think I can't remember the last time Aljo hurt someone on the feet, but he does, he can go toe to toe with someone on the feet. But I just think Zalal is going to be the bigger guy, rangier. He's going to be able to use his range a little better. And yeah, I think we'll get the win here. Uh, though it is, I think it could go either way, really. I mean, that's why everything's so close here. Uh, yeah, I'm taking Zalal. I think decision. If he submits Aljo, though, then people are going to start looking at this guy because that would be pretty dang impressive, I would think, at this point. Yep. All right. Well, yep, that'll be my picks for this week. I was a little later than usual. I know it's Friday. But it is what it is. I'll keep releasing videos whenever I can, I guess. All right. Goodbye.